Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to this week's episode of Tuesday Preppers, where we take a look at the in-game news for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, see what kinds of content's coming out, and what kinds of killers you might need to get ready for. And on Clash of Wills weeks, we do an extra special episode where we go into an in-depth look at all the types of units that are going to provide you with killer buffs and elemental support that are going to help you to kind of gear up and get ready for Clash of Wills. And that is what we're doing today. So we're going to take a look at the news and look at the new unit, and then the event, and then go over some ideas for teams. So first and foremost, I am pretty excited about this new unit. I think that visually the new unit, Winged Officer Celeste, looks really cool. And then I'm also really excited for me personally because this step up is including some units that I do not have and do want. So for example, Prompto is on this list, and I don't have Prompto, and I would like a copy of Prompto. I also don't have Metza, and then Celeste is on there as well. So I personally am excited about this step up with a nice combination of units that I would like to pull for. So I'm going to go for it. Probably like 99% sure. There's a couple things that I'm really hoping for Celeste to have to make her like really like tip of the top, like I definitely want to pull, but I'm already feeling pretty good about the unit, and I'll kind of explain why. So she is a attacker and a buffer, and I'm really hoping that she's going to have some buffs that are unique. They did describe a couple of buffs that she has that are good, but maybe not like unique. I'm really hoping that she has something special, and if she does have something special that makes her stand out, that's just going to make me want to pull her even more. They also did not really tell us anything about her her limit burst, which is probably going to be her main source of damage. They did say she's going to be a high tier damage dealer, and they don't tell us what her limit burst is. So I'm really hoping that her limit burst is non-elemental and that she can be imbued with multiple elements. Why do I hope that, and why do I think that's a possibility? In the live stream, they showed this slide that said she specializes in light and lightning element attacks. So my hope is that she has imbues for both of those, and if she has imbues for both, that means that her LB is probably not locked to one of those elements, so she can specialize in both, and then maybe that means she can be really flexible. And I really value flexibility. People who watch my videos know that I really value being able to like be creative and like mix units together to kind of do things, and her not being locked means that while her best damage might be light, they did say she has a 150 amp in Clash of Wills, so that's probably her best damage. But if she can be useful in other elements as well, I'm excited by that. So there you have it. I'm also maybe hoping that she's got some killer buffs or things like that, but really hoping for like the non-elemental LB that can be imbued, and also like some unique utility would be really, really nice. Either way, I'm excited for the unit, and I'd like to see what she has on Thursday. So I think her STMR is pretty great, and I think her EX ability is decent. And they showed some other things that she's got here. She's got the lightning and light amplify field. Sorry, and then it does all kinds of other good things. So I'm excited for the unit. We'll probably be pulling, but we'll see. And then as far as Clash of Wills goes, they did show us the confirmation here that this will not feature Mania mode. And then they showed us the boss's final sprite. Now, as far as what we're going to call this boss, I could see this being one of a couple different pronunciations. I'm going with Mechiron, but maybe it's Mech Iron or Mechiron or Mechiron. Who really knows? Because it's just words on a page. I'm going with Mechiron. It's a beast human machine with weakness to water, light, and lightning. They don't specify, of course, what is the main weakness. However, we do have some clues that are probably going to tell us what the main weakness or weakness is, probably are. Here's some information that we already know. It uses water and light physical attacks and non-elemental magic. It gives itself Mirage and buffs itself, reduces our water and light resistance, reduces resistance to paralysis, and it gives us paralysis, and it will counter if you don't deal water or light damage. So since it will counter if you don't do water or light, I'm assuming that lightning is not a main weakness here, and instead they want us to focus on water and light. Also, they tell us that if we imbue ourselves with water or light, it increases morale, but it doesn't mention lightning. So again, I'm probably assuming that lightning is not a main weakness. but water and light probably are. We also know from the live stream that they told us that you need to use a limit burst on the right turns to prevent a nasty counterattack. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how that goes on Thursday. Some other information, if you scroll down to the bottom, is they tell us the scoring criteria. Since we don't have bonus time, we know we have to do some other things to get top score, which is just clear level 5. You have to get a total morale gain, not a end of battle morale gain, just total morale. Max damage, probably 5 billion. Number of effective attacks is usually 6. Max chain is usually 100, and then turns for clear, it says we have to have 10 turns. So there's no like final morale score, which means if the boss like pushes really hard and gets morale back, you don't necessarily have to fight against that, as long as you did fill your total morale gain across the entire battle. So I think that makes it a little more accessible for like average players, and I think that that's a really good thing. Now, as far as like kind of gearing and preparing for units, let's talk a little bit about the types of units that you might want to bring to put your team together. And we usually go over this really big list, and I'm going to show you that list right now, right here. So we know that this boss is, again, weak. It's a human machine beast, so we want to bring units that can buff human killer, machine killer, and beast killer. And we've done all of these lately, so this list was really easy to put together. Human killers are things like 2B, Yoshikiri, White Dragonling, Deuce, Aya Brea for herself, Blade of Vengeance Ibarra, Curse of Immunity Melissa, Starlight Elena, Have, Veritas of the Frost, Dark Lineage, the old one, Red-Eyed Sage Soul, Lion, Dark Fina Warrior's Prayer, Axstar and Cleone, Besaid Mage Lulu, Ihana, Fina the Return, Flaring Ether Rain, Lara Croft, Youth from Ravenastra Vaughn, Beryl, Noctis, Ignis, new Veritas of the Frost, Wing of Destiny Stern has mitigations, Ultimate Power Hyo has self buff, Berserker Riku's LB has a human killer buff. Lots and lots of options. Human super common, right? Machine is fairly common as well. 2B Neovision, again, has human and machine. Yoshikiri, human and machine. Ling, human, machine, and beast, super valuable, potentially. Nora, Lightning, Deuce, Fina, Ilmatal, Creel, Ash, Lara Croft again, Beach Blaster Olive, Angeal, Leftia, Yish, A2, Esther, Irvin, Lion, Riku, Albed Girl Riku, not the other one, and then Ultimate Power Hero again. Fairly good options for Machine Killer. I know I'm going over this list fairly quickly, but this list is going to be in the comments, so if you're curious about the list, definitely take a look for it there. For Beast Killer, Chizuru, Ling, Melissa, Dark Lineage Fina, Lara Croft again, Ihana, White Mage Rosa, Eldrin, Cheerful Killer Ayaka, Rain and Fina, various Neovision Reigns have Beast Killer, Nora, Chow, Serge, Lunar Festival Cleome, Olive, Guardian of Underworld Chow, Axstar the Return, Beryl, Irvin, Sabin is just good at fighting beasts, technically, Lynx, and Lord of the Seas Nicole. So those are definitely units that are going to provide you with the best beast, machine, and human killers. By no means is it exhaustive, but we feel the team of us kind of felt like this is like good units to try and start with. Let's talk about elemental supports. You could bring things like Kaito, because Kaito is good at water. Imperil has the Imperil field, and then also does machine killer, so really good option there. Also things like Tiana, Cacteria, Shui Yi, the free Addison Ray unit, Volca NVA, Lord of the Seas Nicole has water and beast killer, Yuna, Laguna, Lulu, Elena, Starlight Elena, Avalanche Tifa, now an NV plus unit, potentially good damage for water. Full Moon Carton, Dragon Lord Bruce, Selfie using Siren, Guardian of the Underworld Chow has water support and light support and beast killer, and water immunity, water resistance buff, potentially very useful. Yoshikiri, Dark Dragon Buffon, Denial of Focus Vanille, Loving Father Saz, Metza, who I don't have but I'm hoping to get, Red Mage Ingus, Divine Archer Ong, and Esper of Destruction Rain, Laswell, and Sophie. Mana Sword Hero Randy, Evoker, Spirited Heart Prim has an amp field, Papoy is just damaged, Sophie, I already said, and Blood Mage Xyrus from last month. So lots of water units you can, as you can see there. Light has even more. Ukiko has a field. Fiend of the Return has amps. Ling has amps. Cetra Descendant Aerith has amps and buffs. Yuna is just damage. Quistis, Lion, Reagan the Return, Kuja, Deuce, A2 Tubi, and Richt. Vermilion Class 0 Ace. Serge, Corral has an Imperil. Esper Tyvis has like a good leader skill and damage. Chow, Guardian of Underworld Chow, technically has some light chaining. Avon, Kaito again has light Imperil field. Noctis, Addison Ray, the one you had to pull for. Prompto, Ignis, him, Gladiolus, Nyx has an Imperil field. And the last time I mentioned that Nyx had an Imperil field, somebody actually told me that they used Nyx to get a rank 1 against that boss. So that's pretty cool. Esper of Destruction, Fina, Chains of Fate and Array, Regis, Wings of Destiny, Stern, Knights of Grandsheld, Sorceress Knight Squall, Petite Jewel Leftia, White Mage Benediction Rosa, and NVA Elena, the very first NVA Clash of Wills unit, the only Clash of Wills unit that was in NVA, had light support and elemental resistances. Kind of cool. Her damage is bad, but you know, there you go. Now, as far as lightning goes, we're probably not using lightning for the reasons I mentioned earlier, but you could do like Paladin Sylvie, Sword Saint Orlandu, Steadfast Knight Agrius, Denial of Focus Vanille, Loving Father Zaz, Dark Lineage Sakura, Sage of Thunder Sakura, Nia Visions Ferris using Ramu, Nora, Wondrous Flash Lightning, Angeal, Zac, Albed Girl, Riku, Stormseeker Esther, Reno's NVA. Reno has good breaks, decent breaks, and a decent Lightning Imperil. Cloud Remake and Strife both have good lightning damage. Elgar, Hero Die, Determined Dagger, Avon, Nelica just got what do you call it? Buffs in the tower, so Nelica could be fairly useful to you. And then Delita is an NVA that does lightning damage. Not probably the best, but he's got it. As far as just the things that the fight says we need, physical attacks that are water and light based, magic attacks that are non-elemental. You could bring, like, for physical tanks, you could do like Fabled Guardian Jecht, Runda, Stormseeker Esther, Fledgling Warrior, and like on a really major stretch, maybe Sid Reigns for various reasons. Mainly because Esther and Reigns has machine mitigation. But the others, you know, you'd probably have better use with. Probably not Fledgling Warrior. Sorry. But I'm probably leaning more towards bringing a magic tank, just because non-elemental damage is really hard to deal with, and the magic tanks can help us with that. So like I'm thinking like Abigail, Elena, potentially Charlotte, Esper of Destruction, who's a free unit, free magic tank, has water resistances, and Divine Beast Chow is good for lots of light resistances, as well as some other things. Speaking of those resistances, you know, these are the units that we thought of that could kind of help us with our resistance to water and light. Guardian of the Underworld Chow, Divine Beast Chow, doing water and light respectively. Melissa does everything. Elena has a 200% light resist buff, as does Abigail. And NVA Elena has 100% to everything. Pretty cool. As far as dealing with the fact the boss does Mirage, you can either just like burn through the Mirage stacks with physical attacks or use a Perfect Dispel. So like Abigail and Elena both have Perfect Dispels. Kaito can do it on his base attack, as can Hyo, so you can give them like counter orbs and stuff like that. Lots of ways to deal with the spell, or Mirage, but usually you just kind of want to burn through the stacks. For paralysis immunity, Abigail has Veil, Melissa has shared immunity, White Dragon Ling has an immunity buff, Divine Beast Chow has immunity buff. But you can also, there's lots of ways you can do it. Like you could even just use like somebody who has Lakshmi and give them the paralysis immunity skill, or Jade Moon Pendant or something like that. Lots of ways to get paralysis immunity. Just make sure that your units all have it naturally or are geared for it as well. And then of course, bonus morale, imbuing with water and light. Since we don't have Mania mode, we don't need to worry about Focus or Vertex units. And the contributors to our discussion tonight are K Crimson Flash, MK Ultra, Quarto, and Thanatos. Thank you so much for being part of our community and helping us put together our list. Now, this list again is going to be in the description and in the comments. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead dig into some teams, some sample teams for both water and light that you might be able to put together. So we're going to go into Clash of Wills, get this Chrome list out of here, and put up the gear. All right. As I mentioned, we've got a couple teams here, and this is my light team. So this is starting off with our light strategy that I think should work pretty well and uses some older units, with the exception of Mireille. We've got Elena for tanking, and then everybody else for our damage dealers. So Addison, Ray, Kaito, 2B, and Mireille all have maxed out killers, chain cap, LB damage, all the stuff that they need. And if this team ends up working, I'll show the gear in full on that video. I don't want to like belabor that point, but just take it for what it is. Everybody has full everything. And then Melissa is our passive provoke evasion unit who has immunity to everything as well. Everybody has paralysis immunity, and we're good to go. And in this case, Elena is our leader. Even in her shift form, she's geared for killers and spirit and has 17,000 spirit. Kaito has 14,000 attack. 2B has 18,000. Mireille has 17,000, and Addison has a big 20,000 with that big attack energy. So there's kind of where we're going with Elena as our leader. But this is just our light team. So this is what I'm thinking for light. I'm going to show you the water team that I'm thinking of. Here's our water team. And on this team, basically the same with Elena, Kaito, and Melissa. They all have the same gear as they did in the other one. But we've swapped out for Chao, Hyo, and Ong. Ong is our leader. He's rocking 16,000 attack. Hyo in his shift form has 21,000 attack. And Chao has 19,000 magic. And the reason we're having Ong lead is because this is a little bit more of an offensive strategy, and we have a good leader here, and we can swap him to be our leader because he does Clash of Wills everybody for 1,000. Now, with the light team, assuming that I'm pulling for Celeste and assuming that I get Celeste to a workable level, I'll probably drop Mireille and put Celeste in her spot, which will mean I'll have to re-gear. And I might even swap out Addison for Stern, depending on how the pulls for Celeste go. But I do want to kind of keep Kaito and Melissa and Elena in the party. I might swap to I might also swap to Abigail, possibly, depending on whether or not Elena can handle it. But that's kind of where I'm starting. My goal is to have Elena contributing to damage, and so I'd kind of like to try and use her if I can. And those are the two teams that I'm thinking of. So, like I said, if one of these ends up being like my go-to team for my clear, I'll show you the gear on the clear. But just rest assured, like I said, everybody gearing's pretty straightforward at this point. Max killers, LB, chain cap, all the things. Just get everybody in paralysis immunity and you're pretty good to go. That is pretty much it. So as far as content goes for the week, Clash of Wills is what we're getting, and then the banner. So at this moment, I'm planning on pulling, like I said, about 99%. But that means we're probably going to be pulling, and we'll be doing that live on Twitch on Thursday, and then going into trying to do some attempts at rank 1 for Clash of Wills. I usually burn through my early stuff kind of earlier in the day, and then kind of work up to saving the big stuff for you guys on Twitch, so we can do that live together, and then assuming how it goes, we'll record a video of it. And that's pretty much it. So what do you guys think? Based on what we're seeing, are you thinking the same things that I'm thinking for Celeste? Are you planning on pulling? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback, and let's have a discussion about it. In the meantime, you guys be good to each other. Take care, and I will see you Thursday for polls and Clash of Wills.